So today I'm going to go over my Transforming Qrow Scythe version 2 that's been made primarily out of foam and pieces of PVC, and is unlike my other one, which was wood and heavy and took forever to transform. I went ahead and made a new one, a lot lighter, and able to transform pretty much on the fly by just removing a bolt and spinning some of the pieces around. You may notice right now that it is actually broken up, laying on the table. That's so I can go over the pieces easier for you guys and show you how everything connects and what everything looks like kind of on the inside. You know, parts that you don't really get to see when it's transforming and things that really hold it together. Before we get started though, I kind of want to make a couple shout outs to some people that have kind of helped me along here. You know, certain channels and people that I've come across when building these things, and you know, I check them out. I try to check out everybody's channels, especially if you build Ruby props or any kind of functioning prop, because I love that stuff. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't like it. So a couple shout outs to Paul, and I hope I say this right, Paul Karyokos. You could go check out his channel. I'm going to put up links all over the page here so you guys can check him out. But check out Paul. Baka no Inu-chan, Thomas Boyd. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he does have a Facebook, so you can go check him out. He's an amazing Qrow cosplayer. I think probably the best I've seen. I mean, the guy looks like Uncle Qrow. And of course, a big shout out to Stephen Mitchell, aka To Flying Ninja. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be actually doing this stuff. He probably doesn't really know that, but after a run-in at RTX 2014 and seeing his Transforming Ruby Scythe, I mean, if you haven't seen that video, it's got like 300,000 views. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Alright, diving right on in here, we'll start off with the handle. Just like last time, the handle is comprised of 3 different PVC parts, being a 1 1/4 inch pipe, a 1 inch pipe, and then switching things up a little bit, I went with a 3/4 inch water pipe. They're like the blue and red pipes you can find over in the plumbing section, but this one happened to be white. I mean, you could use the blue and red if you wanted to, but white's primarily easier to paint, so I went with that one. You'll notice on the end here for this one, sorry about the shadow, the end on that one, it's got a wooden tongue that goes into, and it actually attaches to the inside of the PVC with 4 little bolts, or screws I should say, going right here, here, and all the way around. That wooden tongue actually acts as the center pivot point for the sword, which I'll demonstrate in a little bit. The middle PVC there has a end cap, so that way it fits snug on the end of this here. And then the end of this one over here has a metal piece that shoves into it, and it's been wood glued into place, and that actually acts as a stopper for down here, so that way it doesn't go shooting out of that hole right there. Above the pipes there, you can see 2 bolts with 1 nut. 1 bolt acts as a center pivot, and the other bolt acts as a stopper. Basically, when you rotate it, you take the stopper pin out, rotate it to the position that you want it in, and then reinsert it. I'll show you guys that when I go to transform it. As before with the last scythe, I did use 1 kayak spring clip to hold 2 of the PVC pieces together, mainly the big main body one and the middle one. Just like last time, you buy these on eBay. All you have to do is drill 1 simple hole, and that kayak spring will pop up through here and then lock in to somewhere there, that hole right there. Moving on to the body piece, it is made completely out of foam. Even the gears there are made out of craft foam. I haven't gotten around to painting them yet, and on the other one I even haven't gotten around to making the other gears yet. But I wanted to put this video out there as soon as possible for you guys, so that way you can start building it. But yeah, it's completely made out of foam. Nothing too special with that one. And for the main blade, primarily it's made mostly out of foam, but here you can actually see that I used a piece of subfloor, like cut out a round disc and then hot glued it to the foam on the blade itself. That kind of helps to keep it sturdy and locked in place, because foam tends to want to move around quite a bit. But if you have a block of wood there, it really helps, because these were the screws go down and through for each one of these positions, and then the center screw, of course. And the wood definitely helps to keep it more sturdy. And as I was saying, the body is made completely out of foam. You'll see in the end here, there actually is like a little piece of plastic. That ended up failing anyway, and to prevent further damage, I just kind of left it on there, because it is hot glued on there, and I'm afraid if I try to rip it off, it'll tear off all the foam and not actually the plastic. So I left that on there. For the most part though, it is 3 pieces of foam just sandwiched together. Just the standard EVA half sheet foam pieces. Up front here I have a section ripped out so you can actually see what's going on the inside. This is craft foam right here, but underneath it are neodymium magnets for each position, for blade position and then for scythe position, to help hold it in place. I use kind of small magnets on it. I recommend going with like a bigger, flatter, round magnets if you can find them. Unfortunately, Home Depot's always sold out of those, so I kind of had to compromise and go with smaller, round magnets. But they still do the trick. I'm eventually going to replace them with the bigger ones once they come back into stock, which hopefully they will soon. But yeah, like I said, the blade is just 3 big pieces of foam. Pretty much everything on this build can be done without power tools, except for a drill, maybe. And that's just to drill holes through the subfloor, and to drill holes for the little tongue piece right here. And that's about it. You could use a hacksaw for the wood, you can use a hacksaw for the PVC pipe, and the rest is just foam and hot glue, and a little bit of Gorilla Glue for some parts too. Yeah, I try to make this as simple as possible, so that way everybody can do it. I know people are always complaining, well, I don't have the tools, you know, I don't have the skill. I mean, this is all just basic, simple foam stuff. You can learn how to work with foam pretty much anywhere. I'm a member of the 405th, so I recommend going to the 405th to do it. But you could just go to YouTube, search up how to work with foam, and it's very simple. X-Acto knife, hot glue, that's all you really need for it. Now I'm going to assemble this real quick, and then I'll get back to the video. And here's what it looks like when it's completed and all put back together. There was one little part that I forgot to mention when I had it all torn apart, was that metal piece for the last part of the extendable handle. There is a little magnet that sits inside of it, and that magnet allows it to make contact with that kayak spring, so that way it holds this tiny little piece here at the end in, because otherwise it'd try to slide out as soon as you pick up the sword and try to hold it upright. And right there in the center you can actually see where the 2 bolts sit, as well as the additional hole for transforming it either into gun mode or into scythe mode. Alright, when transforming this thing, the main blade does rotate either down or up, and the body pieces here also can rotate, which helps keep it into gun mode, because you want the blade to spin this way for gun mode, but you want the body pieces to stay where they're at. And then when you take it into scythe mode, you actually want the gun pieces to kind of rotate up a little bit with it, because it stays with the body and it kind of has a slight angle facing upward. To transform it, all you have to do is push that 1 bolt out. It's easier to push it from the back end. Pull that out. Kind of hard to do while you're holding on to it, but pull that out. Pull the blade down. Make sure the gun pieces stay upright. Find the hole. Reinsert the pin. And you're in gun mode. And the nice thing about the pin is that it actually keeps it locked into position, so you can actually swing this thing around freely and not have to worry about it trying to flip in any other direction. You pretty much go all the way around in a big 360 loop, and that thing is going to stay locked into gun mode. Alright, and now to take it into scythe mode, it's a little bit more involved, so stick with me here as I just kind of run through it. Once again, start by pushing out that bolt, pull it free. Now spin the blade around this way. that falls right into place. Spin your main body pieces so it sits up at an angle. This one's a little bit trickier because now you really have to play the line up the whole game. So let's see if I can do this in the first shot. Close. I'm through the center. Just gotta find the back now. Nothing can be perfect, guys. There we go. Locked in there. Then for the blade, just pull down till the magnets catch on each respective piece. Grab the handle. Pull that down so you find that one little kayak pin that's spinning around sometimes. Where are you, you sucker? There you are. That guy sitting there. Make sure that kayak pin really bites on there, because if you don't and you go like that, it can pop clean right out. So you want to make sure that that locks in there. There we go. Nope. It is giving me problems today. Pull this out. And there you go. I do have the red blades actually on here too. I'm still kind of finding a workaround for them. Because right now you really have to dig your fingernail in there and pull them out individually. I might come up with like a little ring system or something that really help to pull those out faster, because this is really the time consuming part of this, and they just sit in there freely too. I need to add like a little bit of string or something to them so they don't go flying out, but they are in there and they do come out ever so slowly. Here we go. And this guy needs a little bit of a change, but there you go. Scythe mode. Now the one other thing that's kind of bad for using foam for this is you'll notice that it's a little wibbly wobbly, and I mean I was trying to fix that problem with the plastic on the back edge here. It didn't really work out too well, like I said, after probably bending it 3 or 4 times and it ended up snapping at every single joint. If you can, and I'm going to try it myself, get a sheet of galvanized tin or galvanized steel, basically stuff that you put on for roof patches and everything like that. That should have the flexibility for it to bend this way, and then have the rigidness so it doesn't want to shift this way, which is the main issue for using foam, like I said. But for the main part, for just taking photos and everything, it's great. Even for just swinging it around too, the foam really holds up. It's starting to get a little loose right here, so just a little bit more hot glue or maybe even some contact cement will help to fix that too. But that's the whole thing, and even with the 3/4 inch piece of the water piping, actually helps to make this handle look a little bit more curved. Not like the last one where it's just a straight piece. This handle can actually now look a little bit more curved because it has a little bit of more wiggle room. So that's my foam Qrow sword/scythe project in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, if I left anything out, feel free to ask me. Send me a comment either here on YouTube. Go check out my Facebook page, Benton Builds. Leave a message there. There's usually always stuff that I leave out. I'll put a picture up right now because I forgot to address it. The internal workings of the blade. Basically how it looks on the inside for that middle piece. That way you know how it actually rotates in the center. I did take a nice picture of that so that you guys can check out. Once again, if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe to our channel for more builds in the future, and thanks for watching.